Hello, my internet friends, I'm Ryan, and this is Demos in the Dark, and we are almost to the end of 2020. A no good, very bad year for pretty much everybody on the planet except for Jeff Bezos. But we are almost through, which means it is time to take a look at the products that were released in 2020 and maybe rank a few of them. I always like to preface these year-end lists by saying that year-end lists are total BS. They are certified BS. I ran this through an 100-point BS diagnostic, and it came out as flaming BS. But it's fun BS. I like doing year-end lists because I like going over all of the pedals that I had demoed over the year, which is pretty significant. We were doing, 2 or 3 a week. And I do like to pull out the ones that I think really grabbed my attention or tickled me in the right way. So take this with a grain of salt. And definitely they're pedals I didn't demo this year. They're pedals I didn't try this year. I restrict these only to the pedals that were demoed on this channel. They are in no particular order, although I would like to start with 2 pedals that are kind of the star bakers, if you will, the ones that really grabbed me in the right way and kind of just struck me as super interesting. The first is the 29 Pedals Euna. Euna is Unity Amplifier. Unity something amplifier. And to me, it seemed to be the fixer of all of the problems that those of us who have large pedal boards have. And that is the infamous tone suck. And the Euna does it. It does it respectfully. It doesn't sound like a crappy buffer. And in addition to that, it has an effects loop for fuzzes that you don't want to be affected by that particular pedal. And it's like, dude read my mind. Here's a quick audio sample. Let's do some delay and reverb. I got a Alexander Quadrant here and Eventide H9. Let's dial something up on this disaster area. DPC4. The second one that really grabbed my attention this year was the Spruce Effects Badlands. And actually, the whole Americana series is a really great side effect of Brian being locked in his house. This was just an incredible line of pedals. And the Badlands was my idea. Brian asked me if I could have any pedal, what would it be? And I told him I wanted an old lamp, incandescent lamp-based 4-stage phaser Univibe with a full range germanium boost. And he did that, and it's absolutely amazing. next one on the list is one that I thought was just super interesting and super well executed, because I feel like other people have tried it in the past and were not able to execute it fully. But Cooper Effects did with the arcades. The arcades is it's a unit that by itself doesn't produce any sound until you put in these cards. And on these cards have different programs, and you can just keep, they continue to put out new cards. So you can just, it's like getting a new pedal every time, like an arcade game. So super cool. Here's a quick sound sample for you. One of the thrilling things about 2020 for me is that I was able to start doing some work for Tom Cram, the legendary Tom Cram of Spiral Electric. And we started with the Brute Fuzz, which is just blew me away, but was released in 2019. The last one that he gave me was the Secret Chord, and that was just recently released, just kind of at the tail end of the year. And, he said to me, he was like, yeah, it's a boost. Do what you can with it. And I went, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And when I plugged it in, I was like, there is tons to do with this pedal. It is, boosts don't have to be boring. And this one is certainly not boring. It took several years to make this happen, and I heard about it all the way through, and I was excited when it finally came to fruition, and it sounds incredible. It is a fuzz pedal that was made for J Mascis based on his exact setup. And they tweaked and tweaked and tweaked for years, Jay and Wren and Cuff, to make the garbage face. And man, I'm just thrilled with it's Jay in a box. It's so cool and it sounds really great. I'm a big fan. 2020 was the year of the third in the Spaceman Sputnik edition. And it's a good one. It's the best one yet. And the awesome thing about it is that they released it in a standard series as well as the limited series. So that means if you are someone who's wanted to try a Sputnik, wanted to own a Sputnik, but didn't want to spend $1,000 on the used market, you can do that now. You can still go to a store and buy one right now, several months after the release. And that is fantastic. And it's also a really great sounding fuzz pedal that I think most people should own. End of the chain option for you here. This one is, it's not going to seem very sexy, but it really is. It's the finishing touch on your signal chain, and it is the Catalinbread Epoch boost. This is the boost channel from the Epoch Deluxe, and it's just a finisher. It's just like, it is just the icing on the cake on your signal. I use it. It's on all the time because it's noticeable when it's not there. It's one of those things that when it's there, initially you're kind of like, man, I don't know if this thing's doing anything. But then you take it away and you're like, oh yeah, that was absolutely doing a lot. And it's great. I'm glad they pulled it out of there to put it in its own separate unit that is affordable. It's got a smaller footprint, and for those who don't want the delay. Speaking of delay and analog delay and tape delay, the Delay Llama Xtreme from Jam Pedals is a game changer. It is, I tried it at NAMM, was blown away by it. They sent me one to try out, and I'm still wrapping my head around it. It's all analog, but they've given you some really cool options that for the modern pedal board. So you can, it has presets, it has tap tempo. Some of the modifiers on the analog signal in the delay are just wacky and cool. And they did a really great job, which is no shock because Jam Pedals always does a great job. I've yet to come across a Jam Pedals pedal that I'm like, they were phoning this one in. No, it's always just out of the park. So, Delay Llama Xtreme. as long as we're talking about delay, we need to talk about Hologram Microcosm. What isn't it? I mean, it's everything. It is, but this is an extreme digital delay machine with some reverb in it. It has a looper in it. It has a lot of stuff that is, a lot of the pre-programmed presets are just absolutely breathtaking. And it's super easy to use. It was one that I found really easy to use and really easy to figure out and really easy to manipulate and make my own patches and things like that. I think all the patches were very musical and very well done. And the Microcosm is probably a pedal that I never would have looked into for my own use. But now, man, I use it all the time. Such a cool pedal. The last one here on my list is from my friends Grant and Karen over at Big Ear, and it is Albie. And Albie is an interesting pedal. It's on here because it sounds great, but the format is also very cool the way that they did it, because it's very different. We live in a world where we just want as many options as we can possibly have, and certainly in the digital pedal world, we want to give as many options as possible. And Grant and Karen said, nah, we're going to put these guardrails on here. Basically what you have is they made presets. They made multi-effect presets, and a number of them. And then all you're allowed to do to manipulate those is blend yourself in and out of them. Blend your dry signal. That's it. And boy, I thought it was going to make people so mad, and it didn't, because what's awesome about it is when you have those guardrails on, you focus on making music, not tweaking and wondering if there's a different sound, and just make music. Take this sound and make music with it. Move on to this next one and take that sound and make music with it. And it's awesome. And the pedal is great. And you wouldn't want to change any of these settings anyways. If you did, you'd be ruining it, because they found the best sounds in there. And it's a very, very cool pedal. I was just overwhelmed by how big of a fan of it I was. All right, friends, 2020, coming to a close. it was just a bad year. I mean, there's just no getting around it. And you can focus on kind of all the negatives, but you can also recognize some of the positives that came out of it. And just because humans are amazing. And one thing that I think is really great is a lot of us were quarantined into our houses, into our apartments and things like that. And we needed art and we needed music to keep us sane while we were not getting the social interaction we needed and not getting not getting outside, not doing the stuff that we needed to do. So we were, for sanity, we were dependent on art and music. And the instrument industry and the pedal builders of the world really just hunkered down, and they figured out ways around getting parts from China and figured out, really bad shipping problems and not being able to have all of their staff in one place at one time. And they just pulled through and they designed really great products for us. And I mean, I would argue that, in a lot of ways, they were helping keep us well up here while we're in the middle of this. So I think that's great. The rest was bad, though. So I hope, for 2021, at some point here in the near future, we all get back outside and we all go hug our family members and friends and all that kind of stuff. But, I do appreciate the pedal builders for what they did for us this year and our mental health. And I appreciate you for being around here. We did a lot of pedals here at Demos in the Dark this year, a ton. And we're also over in Premier Guitar, which is very cool. We made the move into guitars thanks to Fender. I appreciate that. And we have some other cool stuff coming in 2021 with that. Amps, thanks to, VHT and Benson amps for helping me move into amps. So this is we're becoming a much more holistic guitar related channel here. And I'm just thrilled, and I'm thrilled with what 2021 is going to bring for this channel and for us as a community. And I thank you for your time.